Peace, everyone. I hope you are very well, wherever you may be. If you are new here, welcome. And if you're returning, welcome back. It's been a few days since I have made a video, and I hope everybody had an incredible Mother's Day. And to those who do not have their mother in the physical realm anymore, may their spirit remain forever and eternally in our hearts and present with us at all times in this physical realm, and continue to guide us through this journey we call the life experience. We are in the middle of Peaks and Valleys, Chapter 4, the beginning of Chapter 4, and I'm excited to read a couple pages today, and we are going to reflect afterwards and get out of here. So without further ado, let's get right into it. This is Managing Relationships, and we're focusing on the heart chakra, which is the balancing center of the chakras system. So I will read and reflect. Chapter 4, Part 1, Managing Relationships, Heart Chakra, a Balancing Center. We have noted the importance of the higher energy vortices in the upper chakra systems, the connections to one another in the realms, and perpetual flow of higher frequencies flow from source into creation. This chapter, regarding the heart chakra, will describe the vital energy center in the human electromagnetic biofield as the balancing center for the upper and lower planes or dimensions in the human consciousness and life experience. If you have no past experience studying chakra systems, this is a great introduction, and we will expand even further in these videos, of course, as we have been. The heart chakra is in the middle of the chakra system, your lower root, sacral, and solar plexus below, and the throat, mind, and crown above. That is, actually, I can pull this up for you guys. Let me do this for a second, and feel free, pause this video if you wanted to take any notes. If you are familiar, then maybe you have been practicing and developing a better relationship and understanding of how these chakras, these centers are working, and developing a better communications response. As the alchemist, you are subconsciously able to program and reprogram the systems to a balance point, to equilibrium. And of course, we are going to encounter challenges on our endeavors. So this is a responsibility that every individual must seek out and obtain without harming other individuals, a balance point within themselves. And this is one of the most important parts of developing an attunement within, because it awakens the individual to an understanding of the external influences in their environment that are not serving healthy purpose for their life. These of which many times can become stagnant pattern in people's lives, and a pattern break is highly necessary in order for the energy, the subconscious, habitual ropes or knots, if you will, that have looped over and over again because the individual is constantly repeating the same energy pattern, which is strengthening a habit. So developing an awareness for all these things will bring a better understanding and awareness internally. The mind's eye will have a much greater outlook and clear outlook. Emphasize the clarity that will be given through the efforts practiced by the individual. And we are also here to remind each other that we are all able and capable to do anything and have boundless potential within. So here are some chakra centers. I just wanted to associate the color and the chakras so you can look and see the third eye. I'm sorry, what did I say? The mind chakra, the throat. You know what I'm saying. The third eye chakra and the crown chakra. Now all these are related to the musical scale, and hold particular frequency bandwidths, just like on our electromagnetic spectrum. You see the colors that hold a particular frequency spectrum. So if I pull up a picture here and there, the visible light spectrum is what we are using. We take out the color here, this light blue sky looking color, but it's just representing the terahertz and nanometer, which is wavelength interval and frequency interval of the colors that we see or are represented through the photoreception in our eyes. So the frequency color chart is noting the bandwidth between each frequency or color, and our consciousness code, which is in both frequency and, as you can see again, attributed to the musical scale. We are universal. Our systems internally are universal systems. Excuse that picture. But it's the same idea that we use colors all the time to code consciousness. And certainly, I'm sure individuals that are watching this have some understanding of the psychology that goes behind the programming today and the advertising and the commercialism that occurs in everyday life. And honestly, if you're not paying attention, you're realizing how bombarding it is. I got to a point personally where I'm only sitting down in front of any sort of that because I have to, and people, I know we get used to this and whatever, but it's part of the subconscious programming that I'm making it important, not necessarily what the commercial is about. The subliminal messaging is very well known and part of the strategy in the manufacturing and processing of propaganda and all the goods behind the propaganda, which drive consumerism. And the psychology for the consumerist in general is programmed subliminally through film, entertainment. This becomes more obvious when the mind's eye develops a deeper awareness within. So all of this to turn around to say that a deeper connection within, working on thyself and developing these divine machinations, will in turn naturally in reciprocity develop and illumine the mind's eye, and you'll have a much deeper recognition of these external influences that are not serving you necessary purpose here. Okay, take a breath. Now, living through the heart, this is what the material here is focused on, and utilizing the heart chakra and all of the other systems of our power centers, of our spiritual essence, of our God essence, of our creative essence. And of course, this is designed in both aspects of the nature of our being, physical and spiritual, or, the beast and the spirit, the beast and the God. And if you're conquering the lower aspects of the nature of your being, or the beast in you, and these are certain acknowledgments to consider when you're traversing through your own personal endeavors in your day-to-day. We're all going to have to deal with that BS. There is no escape. Don't use words like modern day words like escapism. to cope. Just deal with the things that you need to balance. And if you don't like the things that are going on in your life, then do what is necessary to balance those things out and help as many people that you can in the process, but make sure that you protect your prana. And the last thing that you want to give people is money. What you want to do is teach people. And always remember that you're a student as well. When you're teaching something, you're also learning simultaneously. Just like the flow of the free energy system that of the divine technology that we are, which every piece of us is technology. Every thought, every frequency of thought is a form of technology. It's fluid and it's boundless. It can go any direction. It can go any way and be shaped and molded with any form of potential behind it. All right. Let's get back to, here we go. So this is just going back to the first chapter in relation, that is recognizing and acknowledging every moment of our life is an opportunity to develop an awareness and refine the processes through which our technology, again, which is the nature of our being, is highly advanced technology. So let's read the recap. That is, with all people, with thoughts, with your habits, with your actions, with nature, with inanimate objects, with technology, with the plants, the animals, with your dreams, the breath you are taking right now, with memories, with your silent whispers and words aloud, with all that you consume, with your emotions, with the mind, with God. Your relationships are everything. And this is just to note that anybody has this potential, boundless potential within to go in and refine their relationship with everything. And I think that psychologically part of this strength in the programming in modern day, which has taken over the last couple decades, running into the advancing of technology, which is what it's doing is advancing into your everyday today life. And now it's monitoring your the length between your footsteps and where you're at 24/7. Now, I'm not saying that's actually a bad thing and you don't necessarily need a phone. I'm just making the observation and drawing correlation to the impedance that some people have mistakenly have. It can be disguised as something that's convenient because it's being advertised and commercialized to be sold. But that doesn't mean that it's assisting people necessarily. Sure, I can share this message with you now, but there are other forms of translating messages, and anybody that does have something to share, there have been mediums through which to share it. If these mediums are controlled and censored, then what is the point of having them? You have the Wizard of Oz in some box somewhere that's controlling these algorithms, which in the future they apparently are just designating to AI, AI models. And I'm not saying any of this is good or bad. I'm putting this into perspective. And I would love to hear your insight. Share your thoughts in the comments as well, since we're moving around here with some of this material. Your relationships are everything. Let's keep the train on the tracks. Now, here we go, getting right to the point, the balance point, that is, when individuals become consumers in modern-day first-world environments with accessibility to all the conveniences, choices, freedoms, and services that exist, the systems of consumption begin to flood the natural biological human systems, stagnating the flow of human consciousness, redirecting the flow of energies in the biofield to an imbalanced pattern looping in the lower material planes or hell. Pause here. This is a critical note, and coming next is a key to unlocking the heart chakra, the equilibrium point for the 7-chakra system. Relationships in the lower material self are ensnared by the physical nature of the self, the ego, transmitting emotions and actions into lower energy patterns such as greed, impatience, gluttony, addiction, lust, overindulgence, envy, etc. This is a big page, and we're going to pause here for the day. So if you would like to jot any notes down off of this page, please do so. You can pause the video too, of course. And of course, this is sort of what I was just previously iterating, that the distractions in the external plane really are our responsibility to acknowledge. And this is done so from within. This is an awareness internally, the mind's eye. It has nothing to do, the photoreceptors of our eyes are to be utilized as scanners, not to be deceived, not to be something that is a tool for deceiving. So having this level of awareness within develops naturally a clarity on the external. When we are predominantly in the mode of consumption and not working towards any level of balance or equilibrium, it floods our human systems. Our internal systems become overwhelmed, overstimulated. I'm sure you've heard that word before. This isn't new. Now, the lower physical planes are where our bestial tendencies will traverse and try things. And the point is it's not to say don't try anything, because all is permitted in this universe, but it is about developing discernment in a deeper level of awareness within, so that you can critically think through these events and experiences and challenges you have. And once you find solution, you don't have to find yourself falling right back and stagnating and getting trapped or ensnared in these energy patterns. That is being done through efforts of establishing the agency to maintain equilibrium. And if you think, I've mentioned in other videos, your body is already naturally trying to maintain equilibrium, right? That's what the life spirit is doing naturally. When you get when you get a virus in your body, you have cells in your body that are complicating and disturbing things and have become imbalanced in a particular area. The immune system autonomously starts to recognize and communicate with all of the other intelligences and agencies within your faculties of the machinations of your anatomical and physiological functioning, and responsive to the consciousness, which is an awareness, a mindfulness, an attunement to the universe to heal, which is through your via thought frequency, which you can think of as like we're the most advanced, powerful Wi-Fi towers, or the most powerful. Each individual is the most powerful radio tower ever. All this stuff they're putting up in the 5Gs, none of that is even close to comparable to the human mind, the advanced. That's why they've sort of, I'm not going to put this out, but it can potentially be used against us and weaponized against us, and that can be through the form of integrating our consciousness fields into a matrix of digital or virtual consciousness, right? So that is sort of what everybody will do. The distractions that people will provide to you in this matrix is obviously, now that people have access to the internet, you'll see that it's just beyond far-fetched. They'll sell you the snake oil, the you get it. So this is why it's so important and why I'm sharing this material with you today. And we're going to continue going through this. So if this is something that you're interested in, definitely stick around, subscribe to the channel, and share this with anybody that you think this would assist as well. This is going to be for the tool belt of your consciousness, and maintaining a level of equilibrium and developing the deeper levels within as the alchemist. The transmutability that you have is boundless, and your thought frequency and reprogramming the subconscious mind is your responsibility. And if we don't know that, if we're not taught that, then we're going to get taught what they're going to program. So I'm not saying this is bad or good. I'm pretty sure everybody has different points in their life depending on how old they are, where they'll describe an event or an experience where they had some sort of change of frequency of thought. And ultimately at this point, I'm trying to convey the message or suggest to individuals that they need to break all of their old belief systems to enable an integration of new thought patterns. That way you can enjoy new experience in your life. That is what is exciting. No matter what you decide to do, life's going to present challenges. There is no easier button. We can talk about this in many different facets, but this sort of like what I mentioned a few minutes ago, of like you're not escaping or coping by finding a mind. You need to embrace the challenges, and then they'll naturally balance themselves out. And if you're doing that, great. I'm not trying to demand, I'm saying naturally the flow, the energy of the universe and the divine power that we have is the most advanced technology. So our ability to harness it and utilize it is our responsibility fully. And we collectively can do this together and have a much deeper experience in not, in many different ways. So let's tune in one more time to this last page. It is an important page in chapter 4. And again, the environments that are around us, shaping us, right? Shaping who we are, the culture, shaping the culture of today. Modern day accessibility to convenience is a psychologically cultural shaping thing. And I see too, there's people on YouTube have gone fathoms deep to explain this, and into all kinds of, chasing what is it? Chasing the mouse. Chasing the rats. That's what they are. They're not mice, they're rats. But I'm wholeheartedly appreciative of people who dedicate their time to that. But we know that this exists. The more that we feed these egregores, we are giving our prana to them. It's just something to keep in mind. I'm not saying any of this is good or bad, but in the establishment of being the inner alchemist and wanting to see real changes in your life experience, it's not by giving any of your prana to any of those people. I realized this years ago. I'm 30 now. How I could not find a way when I figured this out. It was honestly like 14, but that was in the back of my mind, the stuff that I'm speaking about now, because there are so many distractions and it's hard to break out of this shit. So it is a challenge, and I'm not going to challenge you, but I am here to encourage you, to challenge you as you grow. These looping patterns exist here to keep things in the illusion that it's comfortable, that it's convenient, that it's escapism, or some people just have developed nihilist tendencies or very um, selfish tendencies. And I don't mean that. There's definitely all this can have extended discussion about it. So keep it with a grain of salt and just acknowledge it in the perspective from which I'm sharing it relating to this material. Again, some of the goals that they have designed strategically is to psychologically influence the masses, the collective mind, towards consumerism. And I'm speaking in these more first world developed countries. If you are in different areas, this might not be significantly applicable. Nonetheless, obviously, it's noticeable. And again, those I mentioned, the lower energy patterns, this is the looping. Like if you think about the chakra center, that's why I showed the colors too. You can harness the color consciousness and recode these patterns in the fields of your consciousness, your chakra energy centers, essentially. We will definitely talk more about that. Please expand your research. I'm noting this in this material to help bring in awareness. Excuse me. You don't necessarily have to know the chakra system, but please, I encourage everybody to study it. And you don't have to be a master's degree in anything to understand this. It's not about IQ. But I do challenge yourself to study the vernacular and vocabulary that is bigger than what you're used to, because the more we study these larger, look at the back of a ingredients, list, or a list of what a product is made of, or what have you, or even the scientific classification of flora and fauna. It's important to challenge our mind to develop a deeper awareness for symbols, which are letters, numbers, right? I'm not saying the words that I'm using, by the way, just in general. That is scientific papers, scientific research. And obviously be careful. I think that in this channel, if you do stick around, you'll notice that I'm not anti-mainstream, but I'm asserting the importance of developing an awareness for what the mainstream is feeding to the subconscious of the collective mind and the individual mind. You're part of the collective, and we are all responsible individually for this awareness. And of course, there's no reason to be feeding your prana into anything that's imbalancing your expansion process. And these are the things that are tough, because we are influenced to think that a lot of this stuff is okay. And if you do believe that, if that is part of your belief system, remember now, all of this is a technology that you can utilize. Your thought frequency is a technology. It's the technology. So hopefully some of this is resonating with you today. I don't want to spend, we're 30 minutes in, and I think that I've covered these last couple pages pretty thoroughly. If you do have any comments, please share them. Any questions or concerns, holler at me on here, on the comments below. Patreon community is free to join. You can reach out to me there. There's some other posts on Patreon as well. I will be expanding the content in all of the channels. So again, with that being said, play these back as, whenever you want to. These are just going to be here for your little shot of coffee, your little espresso shot, a little reminder, a video reminder that is just saying, hey, we're in this together. And even though we have, lengths, a distance physically apart, mindfully we can approach the same frequency of thought, and collectively we can change and influence the generations to come, and just our everyday moment, not even worrying about that, but being present in our everyday moment and applying purpose in gratitude. So hopefully that makes sense, everybody. If not, holler at me again. I'm here. We'll be back later this week with another video. I'm pretty sure we'll be finishing up chapter 4 soon. Play these videos back anytime that you will. And are there any other messages for you guys today? I guess I will share the Amazon publication of Synchronous Universe in paperback format is available as well. That is just a reminder. If you are interested, it is a little bit more in depth from what we are reading now. And it is the best way to support. So support yourself and making a small investment in yourself, and you can carry this information, this material, which any page can be expanded upon from in the imagination, and carry it with you until you don't need it anymore, and maybe you could pass it along to somebody. And if you don't want to, that's perfectly fine, or if you don't want to get the material, is what I'm saying, definitely pass it along to somebody. But tune in here, and we're going over this entire manuscript, Peaks and Valleys, for free. And I'll answer any questions that you have about anything. And we will also be going through Synchronous Universe in the future. So with that being said, everybody, I hope you enjoy the material, and I hope you enjoy the content. And again, this is to utilize in your tool belt as you desire. So I hope everybody has a wonderful rest of your week, and I will see you in another video. Please take care in your endeavors. Much love. Peace.